and welcome to the Aspire to Be podcast. I'm Catherine, Sales and Marketing Lead here at Aspire to Be, and today we're joined by Craig Maloney, who's the Business Technologist here. Thank you for joining us, Craig. Welcome.
No worries, thank you for having me.
No problem. So Craig, tell us a bit about your background then. Tell us how you came to be here at Aspire to Be.
Yeah, a bit of a story really, and something that a lot of the staff know here, and someone did perhaps take a little bit of my story away and became a bit of a superstar around the world. But if I go into depth about it, I worked for 14 years in professional sport as a performance analyst, working for Welsh Rugby Union, Clethley Scarlets, Ospreys, Blues, etc. And I was with the Ospreys, decided that I wanted a career change, had two young children at that time. Being away from them most weekends was a little bit difficult, so I decided I wanted to get out of that and move into something else. So decided to do a course on web and app development, and I was lucky enough to have a job in a school as a technician and DCF sort of advisor to the senior leadership team. So I was lucky enough to have that. And I worked there for a year. During that time, I got asked to go back to the Cardiff Blues to work for 3 months for the last part of the season. So I combined both of those roles for a while. And I was lucky enough that those 3 months that I went back to the Cardiff Blues, we won the European Challenge Cup.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah, about 3 months.
Yeah, that was all right, because during my 14 years in professional sport, that was the only silverware that I ended up winning. So that was a nice ending and put icing on the cake really for that sort of chapter of my life. But I was sitting in the office one day in my school that I was working in. Didn't have those phone calls off the teachers, or my projector's not working, or my whiteboard isn't working. So I was sitting there thinking, right, what am I going to do next? So I knew Aspire to Be because they were a sponsor of ours when I was with the Ospreys. So on my computer sort of lids, we used to put a sponsor. So when we were sitting in the stands and stuff as coaches, we have sponsors on the back of our laptops. And Aspire to Be one of those sponsors. But I never met Jeremy or Simon. But I knew what Aspire to Be was and what sort of line of work they did. And obviously I was working in that sort of line of work in education at the time. In the school I was going to Microsoft courses or Apple courses and feeding back to the senior leadership team. And it worked quite well because it didn't mean that a member of staff had to leave the school on a day, whatever, and get another teacher, supply teacher in. So it worked quite well for them. So I was doing that type of thing, and I thought, right, I'm going to message. I saw something come up on LinkedIn. I thought I'm going to message Simon and Jeremy on LinkedIn. So I messaged them, and I messaged Jeremy. Didn't have anything back. So I thought, right, there's another partner here. I'm going to message him. So the day after, I messaged Simon, and within like 20 minutes or 30 minutes, I had a message back. Really keen on meeting you. Your background and stuff is really interesting, and would you be willing to come into the office on the Friday to have a cup of coffee and a general chat of where you want to go and what sort of thing you're looking for? So I was like, oh, yeah, great, and I just replied, if there's anything I could do over the summer or something like that, a bit of work experience or something, then I'd be open to that. And he said, yeah, you come in on Friday and we'll have a chat. So Thursday afternoon, I thought, right, do I need to wear, or do I need to prepare anything, or is it just a general chat, or is it a bit formal? He said, just come in, we are going to have a coffee. So I came into the office, and there was 5 of them sitting around a big desk.
Oh no!
And I came in, and I was like, I thought this was just
like
yes, it is a general chat. So to be fair, it was lovely. It was really open, and they were asking me, obviously, what I've done in my previous roles, why I left it, what was the decisions behind it. And I just spoke open and honestly, why I wanted to move from professional sport into a more Monday to Friday job really, where I can have my see a lot more of my kids on the weekends, especially when they're playing sport and stuff. So I had a discussion, and one of the roles or one of the projects they had coming up in the next coming months was a project in sport, in professional sport, as an education partner to a leading organisation. So I left the meeting, and it was really open, and I thought, oh great, perhaps in the future there'll be something to come up, and I may have an opportunity. And around an hour or 2 hours later, I had an email offering me a job.
Brilliant. They don't mess around then.
No, they don't mess around. No. And it was very open. I wasn't coming here for a specific job interview. I wasn't coming here for. I think they had something in the pipeline, and they thought there was an opportunity to bring me on board to fit that role. And that's one of the things with SpyRed. They are really flexible. They're really open. We cover a huge range of bases, really. We do a lot of things that we've got a huge skill set amongst our small really group here. They both saw we both saw an opening or an opportunity, and we both took it, really. Unfortunately, that project didn't come on. So what I was brought in for, and I was starting in September the 1st, or August the 31st I started. A couple of days before I started, I had another email saying, unfortunately, that project that you're coming on board for has fallen through.
Oh, but that was a bit scary.
It was scary because I was coming in to do a specific project at that time, and I knew they did a lot of work in education, but I didn't have the education background. But he said, not to worry, we're gonna work with you. We're gonna find new opportunities, new projects you can work on, and we also feel that you've got good skill sets and flexibility to go into other projects. So I came on board, and lo and behold, I was working 80% in education within a couple of weeks of starting here, and I just had to adapt. And going into schools, teaching teachers how to use Google, Microsoft, Apple, etc. Things that I knew about, but I had to spend a lot of time sort of diving in and upskilling myself. But I was willing to do that. And then we did start looking at a couple of sports projects and a couple of things that have come in the pipeline. But yeah, my role over the last 3.5 years since being SpyRed has pretty much changed on a monthly or a 6 month sort of basis, really. I've adapted quite well and fitted into a lot of different projects that the SpyRed run or create, as well as expand my sort of skill set into different areas. And at the moment, I'm in a more focused sort of job. But go back on that story. We have a colleague, Ryan Evans, he's a good mate of mine, and I get on really well with him. But he went global with a LinkedIn campaign, saying that he had his job from a LinkedIn sort of text message. And I'm not sure if he did, but I definitely did send that text message. So you should have been the face Yes, I
should
have been, and I would have been a better looking one than Ryan as well. So,
I'm not saying no comments on that then. Brilliant. So that's a good story about how you came to be here and aspire to be anyway.
Yeah, and it shows the openness of SpyRed. We were a really small group. 2 directors at that time. There were of SpyRed, Simon and Jeremy. You could see their vision. I think there were 12 members of staff or 30 members of staff then. We're only up to 15 now. So we try to keep it as small as possible, and it is quite niche.
Yeah.
I think that brings that sort of togetherness and team spirit a little bit easier to sort of keep going, I think.
Yeah.
And we all help each other, and I definitely fall into that bracket with my different skill sets that I can move across different projects or help different people out at different stages. So I'm a bit of a floater, but I quite like that.
But it's great, isn't it? Because a lot of the staff here are from a purely educational background.
Yeah, they are.
So it's great to have a different facet to it and a different take on things as well. And I think that more business focus is really important to have as well.
And then I've taken on a new role in the reshuffle, which was in January.
Yeah.
So took on a new role. So I moved away from learning technologist, which was basically aimed at the education sector, and became a business technologist. So the business technologist was looking at the same sort of things like Google, Microsoft and Apple, sort of training in the business sector. We're doing a lot of that with the Welsh Government sort of funding projects, PLA projects that we're doing at the moment. And I've done a lot of those with the local authorities or local companies in Wales.
You've had some really good feedback on those as well, haven't you? Because
Well,
I know that if you look back at our Testimonial Tuesdays,
Yeah.
I know we had a whole sort of, a whole reel of really nice feedback because you deliver them in Welsh as well. So.
Yeah. So that was the PLA section, and I've been doing specific training with the Welsh Government as well. So over the last, I think, since November last year, we started with the Welsh Government doing specific training on Microsoft and Microsoft Teams. And I've been doing those in the Welsh language, so that's been really interesting and really good to adapt again, to do something different, which I like doing. I don't like doing something that's very doing the same thing every week, because that's what I was doing in my previous job. It was very regimented, and if I didn't do A, then X wouldn't happen at the end of it. But this is very flexible, and again, doing something in Welsh language has been lovely. And we've had some good feedback. So I want to.
You had some really good feedback.
I won't say too much about that.
Brilliant. So I mean, the big project you're working on at the moment, the one you're leading, is a SpyRed. So we need to talk a bit about that, don't we?
Yeah.
So can you tell us what it is, what it's for, who it's for, what it's aimed at?
Yeah, so again, through my role as business technologist, I've taken on a number of different roles really, and the main role really is looking after or developing the portals, so our portal builds. So like our learning portals, where we have a e-learning sort of website and portal with courses and different things on, or any sort of login and registration sort of portals where we can manage users through the back end. They're the sort of sites that I've been sort of managing. I'm working then closely with the creative design lead, Sophie Yates, who's more of the website sort of builder and creates the websites. I would look at the sort of the management of those, and especially then the management of the portal builds. And we have our very own portal or e-learning sort of platform in SpyRed, which is called SpyRed. So it's been in, we were in development from January to March. January to March in 2020, and we were going to launch in April of last year, but then obviously the pandemic hit, and because we were in such a good position prior to our launch, we were able to fast track it and launch it. I think it was the second week of the lockdown that happened, the first lockdown that happened. And during that time, we were able to offer free, we put it out there and offered free courses, Microsoft Teams and Google Classroom courses to anyone that signed up. And I think during that period, we must have had around over 2,500 teachers sign up, or educators sign up to the site and use those free courses, which was huge for them because they had to adapt the way that they work, and we were able to upskill them. So SpyRed is a platform that's developed by educators for educators. So as we've previously spoken about, we have five or six ex-teachers working here, and that's something we really pride ourselves on, is being able to provide courses or training that is really specific to the education, being in the classroom. And we've sort of adapted that to SpyRed really, or we've built SpyRed around that. So all our courses are designed for for educators, designed to take back into the classroom and be able to use the resources or learning that they've had from the course straight in. So SpyRed is like e-learning platform. We build a course and the course has videos, so it's video learning. It'll have different lessons and topics through videos. At the end of each sort of lesson or topic, there'll be a have a go section where they can have a go at scenarios that we set them of what they've learned in that topic or lesson. And then there'll be a short quiz at the end just to recap on their knowledge and make sure that they've taken everything on board. So that's how we set it up, the course. And now we have 32 courses online. It's bilingual. The site is bilingual, so again we've got Welsh courses on there, trying to cover. We're a Welsh company, and we feel strongly about having Welsh language in our company, and especially on our e-learning platform. So we have 32 courses. I think around 8 of those are Welsh language at the moment. So yeah, it's growing, and it's become a real popular sort of portal or a project for us to run, but schools are really buying into it and getting a lot of benefit out of it as well.
Oh, brilliant, great. And going forward, what are the plans for developing it further?
Yeah, well, with a sort of platform like that, it's constant development. It's constant sort of rebranding of the site to make it fresh and new for previous users, but also attracting new ones. But the main focus around it has got to be the course creation and having new courses up there. We set ourselves, targets to try and upload new courses on there on, a quarterly sort of basis, if not perhaps in 3 to 5 months, adding new courses up there. And the new developments really will take effect beginning of September or in September month, where we'll be uploading a number of different courses around Google, Microsoft and Apple, and then developing the Welsh language side of it as well to continue that.
Brilliant. So if you do want to learn any more about SpyRed, you can find out more on our website, or you can get in touch with us directly and we can give you any more information there. So moving away from your projects then,
Yep.
So at Aspire to Be, we nominate a charity to promote every year, so to give our sort of fundraising efforts to. And this year, Aspire to Be are focusing on a charity of your choosing.
Yep.
So would you like to tell us a little bit about that and about your upcoming sort of...
Yes, yeah. Unfortunately, I lost one of my best friends through leukemia around 4 or 5 years ago. And when he was doing his illness of around 10 years, he set his own charity up, which was Ryan for Leukemia. And since obviously he passed away, there's a group of us who we want to continue the charity going. During the first year, I ran a big event down Park of Scarlets, like a dinner with guest speakers and different things, which raised around 10,000 or 11,000 pounds. So we've done some small events since then, but I think it's time for another big event, and it was meant to be last week, which was the 4th of July, I think it was, but due to the pandemic we postponed it and knocked it back a year. So the event is going to be, we are going to be walking from Ammanford to Anfield in Liverpool.
That's a heck of a start.
Yeah, which is... Liverpool was Ryan, my best friend. It was it was his heart really. Liverpool Football Club. Everything was about Liverpool Football Club, and his strapline or things he always used to say was "You'll never walk alone," and we want to continue that. So it's 164 miles.
Wow.
Walk. So we'll be doing it over 8 days. So leaving on a Sunday and arriving up there. The following Sunday or Monday. It's around 23 to 26 miles a day walking over that stretch. So yeah, it's a big effort, and there's a small team of us of around 18 or 20 doing it, and then a few support members in a bus and carrying out food and different things like that, and shuttling us back and forth. But yeah, we had to postpone it due to the pandemic because we couldn't get the accommodation and stuff booked in earlier in advance. Yeah. So but yeah, really grateful for Simon and aspire to be to accept my invitation to be the chosen charity for this year. And over the next 12 months, myself and Kath, our marketing lead, will be planning some internal events, internal charity events that can help obviously raise money for the charity, and watch this space to see what we can come up with. But I need a practice walk, so a nice 20 or 30 miler for everyone to do in this office, I think would be I think that
sounds
nice.
Fair, yeah. But one team, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, hashtag one team,
yeah. Great. So if you want to find out more about Ryan for Leukemia, or if you want to make a donation, get in touch with us and we can give you that information there. Thank you very much, Craig. So very quickly, quick fire round, you ready?
Oh, go on then.
Football or rugby?
Football.
Oh, okay. Football or cricket?
Cricket.
Oh, cricket or golf?
Cricket.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Snow or sun?
Snow.
Chocolate or sweets? I've just seen you munching a huge bag of sweets.
Yeah, I'm definitely a provider of sweets or chocolate in this office. So I brought sweets in today, so I'll go with sweets.
Okay, brilliant. Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Okay, we're done.
Happy?
Yeah, good.
Lovely.
Great. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks.